What up y'all, it's T-Tar, and today we're looking at what Kalos Pokemon might Mega Evolve in these new games, and we're at the end of the decks for the Kalos decks, so let's go. So last time we ended off with Avalugg and Noivern, and now all we have left are the legendary Pokemon. Now, Xerneas and Yveltal, I already made a video on them specifically about whether they'd get Mega Evolutions or not, which I'll link at the end of this. So that just leaves Zygarde. I also made a video on Zygarde. Both of those are really good ideas for what could happen with the XYZ legends in this new game. So they're out of the picture too. So really, all we have left in the Kalos decks is the final three. Diancie, Hoopa, and Volcanion. Let's start with Diancie. Now, of course, Diancie already has a Mega Evolution. Mega Diancie, the mysterious only Kalos Mega we have in the game. And we don't really know why they gave Diancie this Mega Evolution, though Diancie does have some interesting lore surrounding it, right? It's a very old Pokemon. Its entire race of Carbinks are an old species of Pokemon. That's why when you go find ttarSUBMIT in his little hole, there's freaking Carbinks all around, even though this place that you're looking in should be millions of years old. But Carbinks are there, which makes sense, right? Because Carbinks and Diancie's the whole crap with carbon, you give it enough time and pressure, turns into diamonds. But that makes Diancie a very old Pokemon. And somehow they just gave it a Mega Evolution. A Mega Stone that only works for it. Yeah, we can't get into the Mega Evolution theory again. Now you might think I'm going to give Diancie the X because it already has this Mega Evolution, but I got a different answer for y'all. I think there's a chance we give Diancie the check mark. And you'll see what I mean by this in a moment. So right now what Mega Diancie is Diancie strips the defensive part and she becomes a much more offensive Pokemon. She's still defensive, but pretty much her defenses go from 150 each to just 110. And she becomes offensively crazy. So she becomes a fully rounded, tough Pokemon to beat. Only weak to steel types. But she has this ability called Magic Bounce, which still provides some more defensive support. But point is, Diancie becomes an offensive Pokemon when you Mega Evolve her, which kind of goes against everything that Carbink and the original Diancie was. Here's what I think could happen. Diancie could get a second Mega Evolution in Legends EA. You may say, why bro? Other Pokemon need Megas, why would they do this? It's Game Freak, bro. There's a certain way they think, and this is definitely in line with something they would do. So that would mean they would rename Mega Diancie into Mega Diancie Y, and they would introduce Mega Diancie X. And yeah, this idea also goes back to the other video I made, being able to rename stuff to Y. So Diancie only has 2 Pokedex entries if you look at it. A sudden transformation of Carbink. Its pink glimmering body is said to be the loveliest sight in the whole world. And then it can instantly create many diamonds by compressing the carbon in the air between its hands. Are you joking? It can make diamonds out of the air? I didn't even know that. But yeah, so Diancie's pretty much the master of the whole carbon diamond crap. This is kind of weird, but it almost sounds like she could go up to a Carbink and bless it into a Diancie. Can it not? That's kind of crazy. I guess we'll have to save that for later. But yeah, so right now Mega Diancie, what we can call Mega Diancie Y, it has a very inline Mega Evolution. It reminds you a lot of Mega Charizard Y, where it looks like a natural overclocking of Diancie, and it fits her appearance well, right? It just gives her a full-on princess vibe. The gem on her forehead becomes this heart shape, and the diamonds make this little dress. Here's what I think could happen with the Mega Diancie X. It gets this opposite appearance. So you know how this is some serene princess look? I'm thinking Mega Diancie X would be a more evil look, where the gems, 2 of them would form longer and turn into a more crimson pink color, and it would look like horns. And the idea would be you would create a more evil elf looking Mega Diancie, which would be so cool. So pretty much the white dress part would turn black. Frick, I should make this in Photoshop. I'll do it in post. So the dress would become black, the diamonds would be more darker, like a red, and its gems would form more to make it look like it's evil. So you got Angel Mega Diancie and then Devil Mega Diancie, right? That is a really cool idea. Remember, we trying to get Game Freak some sales at the end of the day. Do you know how much of a selling point this would be to make a Mega Diancie X like this? Especially if they go off what we're talking about in that video and they give a better name to Megastones. And so like the X Megastones, they actually put context in games saying that they're like anomaly Megastones. So they take them down a much different path. You know what? I kind of want to... I'm just going to try to make it right now. I must do this so I don't let fan artists online screw this up somehow. Poor Guru's never been the same. Okay, this is the best I could do for now. So I don't know if y'all see what I did. Instead of giving it the gems, I made it just have these weird black horns at the top. But you see, this crimson look at all gives it a more evil look, right? That's all you gotta do. Mega Diancie X inverted, but they could do a lot more fun stuff. Like they could have the gems cracked. They could have a different orientation of gems. You see how Diancie already has this weird bone crap all around it? You can make these go all around more. There's a very fun way to lean into a devil-like transformation for Mega Diancie, which would be so cool. This is what I really want. My list in these videos has been funnier and funnier. It's all the Pokemon you don't want getting Megas that I've given it to. Alright, so put you beside me. So that's Y, and that would be X, right? Here's something cool they can do with X. You see, here's why this is even cooler. Diancie's typing is Rock Fairy. Not Fairy Rock. Rock Fairy. And since that makes Fairy the secondary typing, it makes it the one that's more subject to change. And so you can have Rock Fairy for that, and the evil one can be Rock Dark. Because Dark is also a mythical typing, right? You know Diancie and Carbink are based off that carbuncle mythical creature that runs around. Diancie is like a Princess Carbuncle, but the mythical typing doesn't have to only be in that fairy typing. The evil one can have Dark, and it gives it that same mythical vibe. And so pretty much its ability would be something like it turns normal moves into dark moves, right? So it's a more offensive Mega Evolution versus the other Diancie having magic bounce. You could also say turns fairy moves into dark moves, like it's perfectly and specifically translating the good in Diancie into the evil, which also works because I even forgot to say this later, because fairy and dark are the two typings of Kalos, Xerneas and Yveltal. So that makes it even cooler to make this one a dark type. So you could have it converting like life into death in a way. So its ability would be fairy moves gain 30% boost and turn dark, or normal gain a 30% boost and turn dark. But either way, that would give it its moveset. The fairy to dark one sounds cool because it sounds like Mega Diancie X can use Moonblast, and it would be a dark version. I like that visually more, but Game Freak has yet to introduce an ability that changes a non-normal type into another, so I gotta leave that up to them for now. But yeah, so depending on where this Mega Diancie would be in the game, what I'm thinking is Mega Diancie Y would be a less important Megastone versus X. Pretty much, I imagine it's something like in the post-game, there's a couple dudes that talk about how this cave used to be beautiful with gems, but something's weird with it. You go with them to the cave, and that's where you encounter this special Diancie that has dark moves in its moveset, something normal Diancies can, and it's holding the Diancieite X. And so that would be the way you get it. It would be a special one. It would not be equivalent to Y, at least story-wise. It would be something you find special in a cave. It would be so nice to also encounter Diancie in a cave, you know? That's all we wanted. Ever since we found out Diancie and all existed back in 2013, we wanted those cave encounters, those static encounters. They can give it to us this time, but with the spin, by making it this evil Diancie. See, I know y'all weren't expecting that answer, but that's legitimately what I want happening with Diancie in this game. So, I'm giving you the checkmark, Diancie, even though you already got a Mega. It looks like a pleasant Mega Evolution, where it isn't suffering or it isn't unhappy at all. So, let's make it suffer in this one. Make it so Diancie is seeing red, and the Pokedex entry talks about how it gets this sudden urge to ruthlessly defend itself and its diamonds. That's the nicest way I can put an evil entry. By the way, I forgot to mention this while editing, but red diamonds are also the rarest diamonds in the world. So it makes it very interesting that you could say one of the origins to it is this very rare Mega Evolution of Diancie for an already rare Pokemon. More rare than blue diamonds, which is what Carbink kinda carries, and then the pink diamonds, the Diancie diamonds, this would be the rarest one. Red diamonds are the most expensive in the world. It's something like red diamonds, they're like super condensed pink that just gives it that strong color. So that's also something I try to do in that Mega Evolution. I guess last point is Diancie's signature move is Diamond Storm. So that always fits for the rock typing, which would stay as the primary and mainstay typing anyway. So this all still works out. Anyhow, shank that like button. Next video, we will talk about the final 2 Kalos Pokemon. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Do you think Game Freak would Mega Evolve Diancie a second time in these games? Or is man's crazy? Y'all let me know. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.